Today we're working through our homework on 5.8, and we need to do some extra practice here. We need to talk about X-Intercepts, minimums, maximums, increasing intervals, decreasing intervals, and if it's an odd function or an even function. We can do that out of the gate. We know that this is an odd function because it says 4x cubed, so we're going to say this is a cubic, which is odd. And then we're going to go to our graph. You're going to type in the function that you have, which is 4x cubed. So 4, and then here's the x down at the bottom. When I need to put in a cube, I need to raise it to the third power. So then it'll say on the screen 4x cubed. Then we can go to minus 12x squared, minus x, and then plus 15. You graph that in there, and then you're going to see all of your coordinate points come up for you. So if we're just talking about x-intercepts, again, that's just us going to analyze graph, finding the 0. We click left and right, and there's our first one at 1, 0, negative 1, 0. We're going to see another one, menu, analyze graph, find the 0. I think I might have pushed it a little too early. So menu, analyze graph, find the 0. Okay. We'll find this one here. So good, we have it at 1, 0. We've got this one over here, which is 1.5, 0. And then the very last one, we're going to find this last 0. Go here and here. All right, it looks to be at about 2.5, 0. All right, so that's written down. Now we need to do minimums and maximums. I can't actually see my maximum here. I can just see my minimum. So I'm going to go through, and I'm going to find my window, and I'm going to see if it'll just do like a zoom fit for me. If I can just see all of the relevant, kind of things. I don't really like that as good. Let's go back. Let's go to back to standard. Okay. And then all I really need to do here is make my y value on the range higher so I can see the maximum. So I can do that manually by going to the window, and then I can go to Windows settings and set my y value to be higher than 6. So if I set my y value to be maybe 20, there we go, and now I can see everything. So I'm going to take off some of this other data that's in my way. Just going to hit delete on that. Cool. All right. So now let's take a look at our minimums and maximums. Let's calculate those by going to menu, analyze graph, and then finding the maximum first. Maximum is there we go. At negative 0.041 and then comma 15.021. So I've got a max at negative 0.041, comma 15.021, and I have a minimum value There it is. And my coordinate point pops up, and there's my minimum at 2.041, and then negative 3.021. Okay. So we're going to be increasing on this function from negative infinity all the way up here. We're going to increase from negative infinity all the way up to when x is 0. And then we'll have another one. We're going to increase from this is negative 0.041. So close to 0, but not quite 0. And then we're increasing again from 2.041 all the way to positive infinity. We're going to be decreasing on the interval from negative 0.041 all the way down. We're going to decrease until we hit this point right here, which is the 2.041. So then we can run our series from negative infinity to positive infinity. We increase from negative infinity to negative 0.041. Then we decrease from negative 0.041 all the way down to 2.041. And then we increase again from 2.041 all the way up to infinity. When you go to graph it, again, you really want to make sure that you're maximizing your space here and that you've got your zeros on here. We're going to have one at negative 1, one at 1.5, and then again another one over here at 2.5, like that. We know that we go up to 15, so I'm going to put this as 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. And negative 0.041 is about right here, so that's my maximum. My minimum is down here at 2.041. I'm a negative 3, so negative 3, negative 6, negative 9, negative 12. Okay, so negative 3.021 and then 2. Like right there. There's my minimum. So I'm ready to draw my function now. I'm going to come up through my roots. I'm going to hit my local maximum, go down through my roots, hit my minimum, and then go back up through my last root. And I'm going to break the graph and put an arrow marking at the top. Okay. So I'm going to go through on my calculator, and I'm going to do the next graph as well. I'm going to clear it out, so I'm going to go to Home, New Document, put in a new graph, and then I'm ready to go ahead and put in my equation, which is going to be 2x to the 4th. It's a quartic plus 5x cubed plus or minus 21x squared, and then minus 10x. Alright, so again, you graph it. Once you get your function, you want to be able to see maximums and minimums. See, I can see this maximum right here, but I can't see the two minimums that I know are down here for my quartic. So what I'm going to do is I need to adjust my window setting on the y value on the negative side. So I go Menu, Window Zoom, Window Settings, and then I know that my low side on my y needs to be even lower. So maybe negative 30. We'll put in negative 30 and see if that is a good window for us to be able to see everything. Almost so close. We're gonna keep going a little bit further now, down to negative 60, and see if that works for us. Menu, Window Zoom, Window Settings, and then the last number that we're gonna do, we're gonna change that negative 30 to negative 60 now. Still not. Let's see how far down we would have to go. I'm going to grab and hold. I'm going to have to move the window. definitely over 100, definitely over 115. So probably 200, probably no more than 200. So I'm going to go back. And this negative 60 is now going to be negative 200. Hopefully we'll be able to see it really well now. Yeah, that looks great. So I've got two minimums, I've got a maximum, and I have my roots in here. Okay. Alright, so let's find all of our critical points. We're going to go back to Menu, Analyze Graph. And then you're going to go in and find your zeros first. So go to option 1. You're going to click to the left and to the right of the 0. And there it pops up. Again, on this kind of thing, this is scientific notation when it's telling you 5.821 e to the negative 11. That's a 0. We're rounding that down to 0. But we still need this part of the coordinate point, negative 4.562. So, let's see here. Over on the X-Intercepts, negative 4.562, comma 0 is one of them. I predict that I'm going to have 4 because the degree of my polynomial is 4. So that means I need 4 roots. And I can see all of them here. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Let's do 2 and 3 now. We're going to go to Analyze Graph and then find the 0. Now I'll click to the left of my 0 and now to the right. And there it pops up. It's negative 0.438. So negative 0.438, comma 0 is my second one. My third one is right next to it at 0, 0. And my fourth one at the very end. Looks like we're going to have to redo it. So Menu, Graph, Analyze Graph, find the 0. And then my lower bound is going to be here, my upper bound is going to be here. That's 2.5, comma 0. Alright, let's calculate some minimums. Menu, Analyze Graph, go to your minimums. Alright, and then your minimum pops up. It's negative 3.336, comma negative 138.272. And that minimum being so far down, that is exactly why we weren't able to find it when we were initially doing the window settings. And then we have another minimum all the way out here on the other side. So I'm going to go calculate that one next. Menu, Analyze Graph, find the minimum. And that is at 1.684. Comma negative 36.431. And then we've also got a maximum right here in between our second and third zeros. So let's look at that max. Menu, Analyze Graph, maximum. And there it is at negative 0.223. Comma 1.135. Here's our maximum. And we don't need anything else besides, the shape of the graph actually to do increasing and decreasing intervals, because we have all the critical points that we're going to need written down. So that part goes a little bit faster. We are going to be increasing, let's see here, I'm decreasing decreasing, decreasing. Now I'm increasing. Now I'm decreasing. Now I'm increasing. So I'm going to have 2 increasing intervals and 2 decreasing intervals for this one. I'm increasing from this minimum to this maximum. So I look at my numbers. This minimum happens at negative 3.336. I'm going to increase from negative 3.336 all the way over here to this maximum. This maximum happened at negative 0.223. That's an increasing interval. You've got another one. This other increasing interval happens here at the minimum. And then we'll go all the way up here to positive infinity. So the minimum x value that you got to was 1.684. And that's going to, like we said, increase all the way up to infinity. And let's talk now about decreasing intervals. You are decreasing in 2 places. You're decreasing here on the y-axis, and you're also decreasing here on the y-axis. So let's describe that. From where x is negative infinity all the way to where x is negative 3.336, we are decreasing. So put a little parenthesis there, negative infinity all the way to negative 3.336, we are decreasing. We are decreasing again from this maximum point all the way down to this minimum point. And that is another bracket in here. That maximum up here was negative 0.223, and then this minimum was 1.684. Alright, so then you should be able to tell the entire story just by looking at your increasing and decreasing intervals. So we go from negative infinity to negative 3.336. That's decreasing. Then we go from negative 3.336 to negative 0.2. That's increasing. We decrease again to 1.69, and then we increase again all the way up to positive infinity. And that's this one right here. Altogether, because the degree is 4, you know this is a quartic, and that means that this is an even function. Now the next thing we're going to take a look at is on our extra practice for part 2, and I'll be right back with you. Okay, so we finished up the last part of our graphs for 5.8, and we're now flipping over. We're going to go over to 5.7, which has most all of our translations on here. Now there's a little extra kind of cheat sheet over here off to the side just to help you out. And then we have a couple of graphs here to do. The first one they're asking you about is they're asking you graph the function if it's a reflection and then shift it 3 units. So yeah, you got to reflect it. And then this is the reflection in the x-axis, and then you've got to move it over 3 units. So we're going to reflect it to down, and then we got to move it to the right 3 units. So here is our where we started, and now we're going to go over 1, 2, 3 units. There's our 3 units, and then we're going to draw our function downwards the way that it should go. Exercise 8-9. We're looking at number 8. And number 8, we're going to have a reflection here in the y-axis, and then we're going to go down 9 units. We had already been shifted up 8 units, so really this is us from the parent function just going down 1 unit, because negative 9 plus 8 is negative 1. So altogether, like our original function would be 2, 4, 6, 8 would get shifted up here like this. This would be like the original. And then this one over here has been reflected in the y-axis. And then it's been shifted, so we should come out at -1. So I'm going to come down here, -2, -4, -6. So -1 is right here. And now it's a reflection. So instead of going low to high, we should now go high to low. Number 9. A couple of things here. +1. And then we're going to do 5 times that function. So this is a vertical stretch. Every single coordinate point has been doubled. Times 5. So the first one here, we go to graph it. It's going to be 2x to the 5th minus x cubed. And it's going to come up right over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So we're going to come up and hit just over 5. Come back down to 4. And then we come out the top. Alright, so we need to stretch this. Okay. So there's the original. Here is f of x, and then here is g of x. Where we have stretched it, we were down here, and then now we're up here. Right. So yeah, this should come 1, and 1 times 5 is 5, so that's why we cross over here, 1 to 5. Good. All right. Number 10, we need to take this function 1 unit left, and then we're going to reflect it in the x-axis and do a vertical stretch by a factor of 2. So f of x is going to be x cubed minus 6x squared plus 5. We're going to go 1 unit left. So I'm going to do x minus, no, 1 unit left is x plus 1 cubed minus 6 times x minus 1 squared plus 5 plus 1. So now we've moved this the direction it's supposed to go for both of these. That's 1 unit left. Now let's do a reflection in the x-axis. So that means that all of my signs outside will change. And then let's do a vertical stretch by a factor of 2. So every single thing is now going to get multiplied by 2. So our last function, our final, is g of x equals -2 times x plus 1 cubed plus 12 times x plus 1 squared minus 10. Sorry about that. I didn't realize I wasn't on the screen. And then number 14, you've got your function. It's a horizontal shrink by a factor of 1/3. It's a translation 8 units down, and then a reflection in the y-axis. Well, that's a lot. Okay. So a horizontal shrink by a factor of 1/3 means that we're going to say 3 times 3x to the 4th plus 3x cubed plus 3 times 3x squared plus 12. Then we need to do a translation of 8 units down, so minus 8. And then we need to do a reflection in the y-axis. So that means that this inside will turn negative. And now we're ready to expand and solve. Or at least combine our terms here. Okay. So this is something to the 4th power. So 3 times -3x times -3x times -3x times -3x plus -3x times -3x times -3x plus 3 times -3x times -3x plus 12 minus 8. All right, so let's see what we got. Negative times a negative is a positive. Negative times a negative is a positive. So this whole thing is going to be positive. We've got 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times 3 is 9. So 81 times 3 is 243. X to the 4th. X times x times x times x. X to the 4th. Now let's do the next one. We've got x times x, which is x cubed. 3 times 3 times 3, which is 27. And we have a negative times a negative is a positive. And a positive times a negative is negative. So minus 27. X times x is x cubed. Let's go on to the next one. We have a negative times a negative, which is a positive. And then a positive 3 times 3 times 3, which is 27. X squared. And then 12 minus 8 is 4. So altogether, it's going to be 243x to the 4th minus 27x cubed plus 27x squared plus 4. And that'll take us to the very end. We'll see you in class.